Hello and welcome to Grumpy Gamers. You're here with me, Pete, and along with me this week I have Ben.
Hello.
Eddie.
Hello.
And Dylan from the Offshore Gamescast.
Hello.
Hey, great to have you with us. And
USA.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that from Eddie, especially.
I was not expecting that.
You're not even going to get that from me, so.
Either way, love the energy though. Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have Kirk because he claims he's ill. I mean, we can't let him deny that, can we?
Yes,
we haven't seen him a week
because he's been ill for over a week, and he went drinking the other day. So no, not allowed.
Yeah, I second that. Yeah, not allowed.
It
doesn't add up. The facts don't add up.
All financial benefits from this podcast is suspended for him for a week.
Yeah, and he will. And I tell you what, he'll feel that blow. I'm sure.
Yes, at some point he will notice that. We're not sure when. But unfortunately, we also don't have Dave, and that's a big shame because I was hoping to ask both of you, Dylan, what you guys have been up to since your combined work with Ben and Kirk at Christmas.
Yeah, Dave's got some stuff going on, so just me. But we've been busy. We've been busy. We went to PAX East.
Awesome.
Saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was. So I haven't been in a few years. I went to a couple years ago, like towards the beginning, and it was very different this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, coming back, they didn't have it last year because of COVID, so this is the first one back, and it was very light in terms of the games they had. Like
your experience sounds similar to ours when we went to EGX.
Yeah. The biggest booth was Devolver Digital, which that's not nothing, but like in the past they've had PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo have all had their stuff there, and none of that was there. But it was still cool. Got to play some indie games like early, and it's still a cool feeling,
Yeah, definitely.
Awesome.
Yeah, we had the same thing. We had the exact same thing, didn't we, guys? When we went to EGX in London, it was muted, but played some indies, but it was just weird. There wasn't much there, really.
There wasn't much there, but I loved it because it was like once again being around fellow gamers and like seeing lots of indie games and like just writing stuff on your phone to keep an eye out for this game, and I just loved the whole thing. Just nice to be in that environment again,
Pretty much same exact experience with PAX. That's exactly what it was. It was, on one hand, it was weird seeing it like not extremely crowded. On the other hand, it was nice because there was like no line for anything. The most was like a 5-person wait for Trek to Yomi.
Wow. Yeah, and that's
wow.
all that deserves, really.
Great. I bet that was a good time. Oh god, that's a bad game. Right,
savage.
Honestly, every time you talk about that game, it gets worse. I don't know what to think now.
It
like
doesn't,
the first
but
time
it doesn't
you were like,
grow
I'm
on
quite
you.
disappointed with it. Now it's worst game of all time.
It's
I still
a
liked
terrible
it,
game. I mean, we did say on the pod, I said it the 5 out of 10 game. It's.
Which for Ben is
Dylan, I know you played it last week, didn't you? On your last pod, you were talking about it.
Yeah, I'm liking Trek to Yomi. I'm enjoying it. It's nothing crazy. It's there's nothing special about it, but I'm enjoying it. Yeah.
You're wrong.
See, this is the thing. I enjoyed everything about it except the gameplay, if that makes sense. Like the tone, the graphics, the whole look and feel of it was fantastic.
Do you think that you don't think it's, especially to Ben, you don't think it's as good? Because we did kind of build it up, didn't we? Like, we talked about it a few weeks in a row before it came out. We were saying how good, and it did, like, on paper, it looks great. I remember talking to you about it, Ben, and going, this game looks fucking amazing. It was my choice of the week and everything.
I am joking around a bit, just because, but it is, like, it was one of those things that, like, everything added up. Like, every part of it feel like it should be good, and I just think it just fails. But anyway.
Yeah, I don't know. I like that challenging kind of time-based parrying combat in games. But
okay.
I also wonder if it is like we got to play it at PAX before it was out, so I kind of knew exactly what I was getting myself into with it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I've had that with some...
this as well, but there is a move that you will abandon all parrying for if you realise how good it is. But that's the problem. I probably ruined the combat for myself by just realising that I could just spam that and win every time.
No, actually, I think Dylan, you talk because you're right at the end of the game, aren't you?
Yeah, I got one chapter left.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were talking about a pretty killer move, and I think that might be one that Pete might be talking about. I don't know.
That's how I got that secret ending, like completely unintentionally.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I definitely died when you didn't. I definitely died. But anyway, but catch up with their podcast from last week, and then you'll find out what that's all about.
Yeah, I like that.
But any other news, Dylan? I know you guys are building a studio.
Yeah, building a studio very slowly, but we're working on it. And when we do, we'll be able to do like a lot more video content. That's really the goal with it.
Awesome. Yeah.
If you go to our YouTube, we did our first ever review of Best Month Ever. So go check that out.
Yeah, I saw that one because when we did our new releases a few weeks ago, we saw that game and I thought it looked quite interesting. And I watched a video review of it, and it does. It looks like one of those where if you had a bit of a lull, you might look into that one. Yeah,
it's it's a short thing. It was weird for our first review because it's like strictly a narrative-driven game, so you can only say so much about it without getting into spoiler territory.
Yeah,
but it was fun. It was fun doing that.
Excellent. I do, and it's nice to hear of a podcast that are organising and setting things up they're going to do and then actually doing them, because we try and do this, and I mean, for our first week of streaming and organising a live episode, we've done fantastically well, haven't we, guys?
All I'm going to say on this point is that if I'm not involved in a particular thing, it does not happen. It falls apart. If I'm not putting it together, it falls a fucking apart. So that's on you guys. That's all I'm saying.
You're talking about Rocket League Thursday? I was well up for that.
Yeah,
I even told the missus she was out for the evening.
Yeah, what happened? Look, I'm just saying the variable is I wasn't there and it fell apart.
Yeah, I mean, we could also put this down to Kirk shirking his duties this week.
Of course it was Kirk. It was all Kirk.
Yeah, but nobody picked up the pieces about Kirk.
Well, we only found out on the day, Ben.
Yeah, what do you want me to do? The same day, like, work out how to do all of it. I don't know any of that. You know why I'm here, Ben. I'm here to shout and say aggressive things in aggressive manners. That's my whole role in this podcast.
And life in general, yeah.
I'm not here for opinions or for, or I've got insider knowledge. None of that shit.
You are a reactions guy.
Don't break the fourth wall too much, but but yeah, okay. So we didn't do a stream, and we didn't have our live episode today. We're just recording this normally, but let's forget all that.
Oh. We were, yeah. This was going to be on video.
You didn't tell me that. Gee, on video as well.
That's because you just get angry about it, Eddie. Like.
Holy shit, you did not tell me that. I'm in my PJs with a toothpick in my hand. Thank God it's not on video.
In a few weeks, we will do that live one, and maybe that'll be with Dave and Dylan doing a recap of what's gone on in June. But and streaming should happen every Thursday, 7 p.m. So we will stick to that.
Unfortunately, we've set a really bad precedent there, Ben. With
I mean, I have to say should, because you guys let us down on week 2.
Yeah, it's 100% failure rate so far.
So yeah, here we are.
Ben streaming, 100% success. Anyone
100%.
0.
100%.
Flat 0. I mean, admittedly, Ben, you did cut an episode short simply because you didn't know how long the game was.
Yeah, I thought it was longer. And then it kind of ended. I was like, okay, well, that's it then.
The rump end of a 1 hour and 15-minute stream where you were desperately thinking
what
of what you could do.
What a cracking stream it was, though.
It was good, yes. Anyway, we are also abandoning our usual format for this episode, absolutely, completely abandoning it, and we're basically just doing an extended feature, which, well, it revolves around the coming June, doesn't it? That's the key thing, and our kind of we've had a bit of a lull since February and all the game releases, and now we're looking into the event season. And we've got it all. Well, it's already kicked off technically with that 505 thing last week. Did anyone catch that?
I didn't catch any of it.
No, I don't think anyone in the world did. But that was apparently the first thing of the season. And then it
was okay. It was fine.
Someone did catch it. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, well, I skimmed through it. It was like a deep dive into 3 different games that were not really my type of games.
Right.
Yes.
I'm sure I heard about one game. Was one of them a big one? Was a big RPG or something? I don't know.
I honestly don't really remember.
No.
Okay, very memorable.
Really good games then.
I don't. Do you like The Forest?
Oh,
No.
yeah. No, I
do
did
you
hear
like-
about this actually.
Yeah, there's like one with trolls.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yes. No, I think that's the one I did hear about.
Yeah, that's the
Pretty
one
sure I heard about that. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay, riveting reviews from that particular event.
Clearly
so-
suggesting we all need to go back and watch this. No. But we have got the Star Wars event coming up this week, haven't we? We're
Yes,
expecting
we
to
do.
know about the sequel to Fallen Order.
Yep.
And after that, it all gets serious with Summer Games Fest and then the upcoming showcases for for at least 3 of the consoles, like you'd expect, wouldn't you?
Yeah, you would expect them. Obviously,
so-
Microsoft and Bethesda have announced theirs, but Sony and Nintendo is kind of when that'll be. We don't know.
Precisely. And I suppose we will go into our expectations for everything upcoming and sort of what we're hoping for. But I think before that, we should probably ask the question of who do we think is under more pressure of those 3, of Microsoft, Sony and Nintendo, coming into the season. So I'm going to actually start with Dylan on this.
Ooh, all right. For me, Sony easily.
Okay.
Because Xbox, they kind of got their thing going with Game Pass, and they do need some more first party right now that we know it's coming, especially with now that they have Bethesda and everything. And Nintendo has always had its own little space where it does its thing, and now Sony is working on its new PlayStation Plus.
Yeah.
That's supposed to be the Game Pass competitor, which we'll see about that. And they don't really have a lot going on for the rest of the year, other than one big game I can think of. So I think it's more on them.
Okay, I like that because I bet you Ben is going to say the exact opposite.
Thing is, I do think Microsoft are under pressure because of recent news. Like obviously with the Starfield push and people saying, "Oh, you've got no games in 2022." I do think there's a pressure there that they have to show something, but I do think that there is this kind of innate pressure on Sony because when we were thinking predictions for this for the particular shows, Sony's the hardest one to write for. Like there are I don't know what's there. Like the one big game that's coming out, I'm not sure I really care about. Like I'll buy it obviously and I'll play it, but I'm not that into it though. I'm not that into God of War. So, it's Sony is the one where you're like, well, yeah, come on, you got to show us something. Now, obviously, they've got PlayStation Plus stuff, and they've got all these that we've been told that they're making 25 new games and 16 of them are live service games. They've got to start showing us stuff. They've really got to do it.
Yeah, isn't it like a bunch of them within the next 3 years or something?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the
exactly. They've got to be. But what I do think is that Sony have kind of distanced themselves from all of this E3 stuff, obviously by not attending in previous years, and they just do these state of plays. And what if they just rock out with a 25-minute state of play? You'd be like, hang on a minute, have you not got more to say?
I don't know. I don't see them doing that though.
Yeah.
I think they're going to try and do an Xbox mimic with PS Plus as their centerpiece thing.
Okay.
That would be my guess. But I do... I mean, actually, no, Eddie, let's go to you first. Who do you think's got more pressure on? Because I know you do even less forward thinking than I do.
That's true. No, I'm going to go with Xbox, which is a bit weird. But it's so obviously I think Xbox are in a bit of pressure at the moment because obviously they're delaying of those 2 massive games, and then with the PlayStation, with Sony coming out with their proposed Xbox Game Pass competitor. So they're under pressure, but I don't think they're worried because I think what they will show us in the next coming months will please everyone. So I think they're under the most pressure, but I don't think anyone's sweating in that boardroom.
Okay, fair enough. And I'm going to wonderfully cap off the end by sitting on the fence because I kind of think there's a lot riding on it for both of them. I completely agree with Dylan that Nintendo operate pretty much in their own space, so they're not feeling the pinch at all. But I think if PlayStation want to launch PS Plus well, they've got to do a good showcase on it in this period. And I think Xbox just need to show they're doing something to counteract the bitter taste of 11/11/22 being false.
Is it wrong of me that I just think it might be because I hate PlayStation, but I just think they're going to fuck that up. I think somehow they're going to fuck it up. It's like, I love Netflix, and then when Amazon came in, I was like, I don't really like Amazon, I don't like Bezos. And then I was like, I bet, but to be fair, you can't really fuck up a streaming. How fucking shit is Amazon? It's so bad. It's beyond belief. The
interface is terrible.
Oh, I just want to. You know what? Oh, I switched off, but let me switch it on back. What? I have to fucking work out a puzzle. I have to give them my detail. What the fuck is that system about? So no, I hope and I think they're going to fuck up their Xbox Game Pass compared to.
That's a nice tangent to Amazon when they've got nothing to do with anything here. But
he's just it's his thing to be furious about. So
that was
Amazon into it. Yeah,
that
was a great drive-by.
Sorry, don't give me 12 clicks to find the show that I was literally just watching.
Yeah, give us a quick resume feature. Come on now.
I can see why my missus doesn't listen to this podcast because this is the same rants I have to her on a daily basis. So that and she doesn't want to hear me shouting about a late lunch twice, does she? So.
She's a fortunate girl. Anyway.
Doesn't matter, she doesn't listen, so say what you want.
Oh, God. I realise as well, for this being the first time Dylan has met myself already, this must be an interesting education into our personalities.
He's heard what we're like.
Yeah, I've listened.
This is what you expected. Okay, fair.
Yeah, nope,
fair.
I expected it.
Yeah, but I imagine listening to it at 8 a.m. was not what you were initially thinking.
No, my energy drink is still kicking in here.
Yeah, fair. And with that, we probably should kick into the actual events and our expectations for them, shouldn't we?
Cool.
I think that's probably the way to go. Yeah, so let's just take a moment to talk about the Star Wars event, because we've known it's upcoming, and it's the first one that's got any major hype to it. And this is all about Fallen Order's sequel, or as people suspect, it's going to be called Jedi Survivor, don't we?
I think it's been officially announced as that.
Has that been officially announced? I thought this was still just rumours.
So. No, I think it has. It has.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do wonder what they do with that game, because obviously the first one I think has gained renown after the event. I think it came out to a relatively decent reception, good scores, but I think it's just continued to be one of those games that people are like, that game over there, that's pretty good. I had a few issues with it because I didn't like completing kind of a section and then having to traverse back to your ship rather than having like some kind of fast travel thing. It was just
the mini map
really annoying.
Well. I don't like that game very much, but the mini map as well. Oh my god!
So did anyone here actually like that game?
No.
I call it okay at best.
It's a shame though, isn't it? Because for me, it was as Pete says, the mini map, and it was traveling back to your ship. Like they were the two things that turned me off that game totally. But I thought the first hour of that game was actually quite good.
Yeah, the first hour keeps you hooked in, like the bit on the train, etc.
Yeah, which is quite narrative focused kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't even like the parkour that much, and it's one of the more celebrated things of the game. So, yeah.
I did like the kind of Dark Souls mechanic type feeling of it, and then it had difficulty sliders. That was good.
Two very different ends of the spectrum there, but yes.
But when you are talking about a game's main positive being that it's got difficulty sliders, that's not a great advert, is it?
I mean, maybe I should have made it more difficult, because I just thought it was easy Sekiro with just a really boring main character.
Oh my god!
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I also thought graphically, it was like when it came out, some scenes looked really good and other scenes so bad. Like, I know they've done enhancements now, like Xbox Series and PS5 enhancements and stuff, but originally when I was looking at that game, I was like, Jesus, okay, sometimes it looks like that man's hair has just been like glued on. Yeah. Well, anyway, that's enough Jedi.
I think that is more than enough without even actually talking about Jedi Survivor at all. I'm excited to see what the storyline will be, but that's about it. And that does bring us on to Summer Games Fest. And
right, this will be a big one.
This is really, in the absence of E3, is going to be the big event, isn't it? That's the most likely thing. And
yeah,
I suppose the first thing we should mention with this one, I think it's going to be long. I think it's going to be longer than last year's, which was, just under 2 hours?
Yeah, I think so. I've heard rumours that this one is going to be about 2 hours as well, but I wouldn't be surprised if it runs longer than that, yeah.
Yeah, everything in the build-up was actually saying 90 minutes to 2 hours that I could see, but I reckon that was before the E3 cancellation and, like, that sort of...
yeah, doubling down.
Reframing.
Doubling down on this, yeah.
So I suspect it might be a little bit longer this year.
Yeah, but Nintendo aren't confirmed there yet.
That is true. That is
which
true.
I think was the same as last year. Actually, I don't think there were any Nintendo games.
Yeah.
At Summer Games Fest. So,
but let's start this off by talking about what do we think is the big reveal this year. We obviously had Elden Ring last year, and that was by far and away the best moment. And we don't have that this year. What do we think it's going to be?
I think it's going to be something Kojima related because I think Jeff Keighley will double down on the Kojima stuff this year because I think last year they showed Death Stranding like director's cut or something, and they had a message from Kojima, I think. But this time, now that Norman Reedus has come out and said, yeah, we've just started the second one for Death Stranding, I wouldn't be surprised if that was all a thing said on purpose and actually Kojima was building a bit of hype and then they were going to talk about Death Stranding 2.
Okay.
It might be too early for all of that stuff, but that could be a big reveal. That could be a big hitter to end the show on, couldn't it?
It could. But I have my own suspicion on this and I think it's going to be Warzone 2.
No.
I think that might well be it.
Well, I'll tell you why I think it may not be, because then there's a Call of Duty event in early June.
There is, yeah.
And we don't know what that is, and we don't know when it is, and they're probably going to show more of Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
But I maybe they put it in that one if they're going to talk about it, or do you think that it would be a Summer Games Fest, bigger audience kind of platform?
I think that initial reveal, they'll want the biggest audience they can get. That's just my suspicion, obviously. But that's what I think they might do.
Why would they release a new Warzone? Because it's kind of like a live service. They released the new map on the old Warzone.
They did, but we know they like upgrading these games all the time. Like,
they are doing Warzone 2, though,
and they are doing Warzone 2, yeah.
If they do the whole, new Warzone every year like they do with the fucking CODs, I think that might be... No, thank you. Fuck off.
I think this will just be a step upgrade. So maybe this will be next gen only or something like that.
They need something because I mean, how much were we into Warzone when it came out, Ben? But fuck me, their last reveal of that map was horrendous, absolutely awful, wasn't it? We as huge fans tried to play it, Ben, for half an hour.
Yes, that new map. It was terrible. Have you played much of Warzone, Dylan? I know you've played Apex.
Yeah,
quite a bit, but Warzone?
No, I haven't touched it at this point. When I'm mostly playing single player story games. Yeah, but if I'm jumping into an online thing like that, it's gonna be Apex. So Warzone 2, I saw that and I was just like, all right, sure, I'm not gonna touch that.
Nose Pete.
No, we'll not go near it at any stage.
Hey, and
for
Kirk,
even a moment.
Is Kirk still got the ban, or has that been uplifted? His
I don't know. I don't know whether Kirk is still on his
if he gets on his high horse.
Well, I think Kirk, what did he say? He could play old ones. That's why he bought Spyro and Crash, but he couldn't play new. I don't know.
New ones because then it's new money or something.
There's something there. There's something there, isn't it?
What a mess. What an absolute mess.
He's not here to defend himself, so we've got to.
We've got to make it even worse than when he is here. Yes, yeah, obviously. Yeah.
From 2 different continents this time.
But there's a load of stuff that I expect to be here. Like, I think... What about Mass Effect? Because do we think they could be showing more on the Mass Effect here?
Yes.
The new one?
Oh,
Right,
you do as
that's
well.
what I want to hear. Dylan's all in.
I do, yes. Well, first off, I'm just going to preface this by saying I'm a pretty big Mass Effect fan, so this is kind of wishful thinking. But they've kind of had a tendency with this game and Dragon Age to show things way too early. So I wouldn't be surprised if they continue that, but also with that recent EA news about how they're looking to like sell or merge or do something with that.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to want to push more of this stuff to the forefront. So I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if we see Mass Effect and if we see something Dragon Age, even if they do the more like concept art that they have been doing. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something.
That's a very fair point. See, I initially didn't think anything Mass Effect was going to be shown. I just think it's a bit too soon after that reveal for it. But you make a good point with the news of the mergers, look. They might want to sort of buff themselves up a fair bit for that. That does reset my thinking there. Damn.
And also, Pete, something for you. I reckon we've got to see indie showings. What do we think? I know this could be a Nintendo Direct thing.
Yeah.
But Hollow Knight Silk Song.
Don't do it, but you've mentioned it.
Like,
come on.
This hasn't been talked about for fucking years, and everybody expects it at Nintendo Direct. But what about here? This is the perfect place for it.
Yes, it is, and it's not going to happen because this game doesn't exist. No, no. I mean, I really hope it's there. Come on now, like, give us something.
Well, yeah, because they just haven't talked about it for ages. I mean, and people are starting to think, what? But then, the reason I say this again is that Elden Ring was talked about in dark corners of the internet for years, and only really kept alive on the subreddit. And then it was dropped.
Trying to buy weapons, and there's Ben going, "Have you heard about Elden Ring?" What the fuck?
Exactly.
I think
dark corners of the internet
4chan and Reddit, to be honest.
yeah, but they were the only people keeping it alive. It was only kept alive on Reddit, and then suddenly was dropped on Summer Games Fest opening night last year. So Hollow Knight could get exactly the same treatment. Who knows?
I mean, it's not as big as that, but my God, I hope we see something about it soon.
But it's also an indie / now it's really big. Maybe it's not an indie anymore. But as indies go, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: Shredder's Revenge has to get a release date. I mean, it's imminent. Yeah. I want that game.
We can tell, Ben. You mention it most weeks now.
I fucking want that game. And they announced that fucking... I know it's different. It's whoever is doing the Cowabunga collection or whatever. But it's like, fucking hell, just release some fucking Turtles games, for fuck's sake. A Turtles game. So yeah. And you want to see Kerbal too, don't you, Pete?
I do. I really do. And I mean, some of this may wait until the PC gaming showcase, which I think is a bit later in June. But I would love to see something Kerbal too. Like, I mean, a release date would be wonderful, but
and a Game Pass day one.
That would be even better, yeah. But I just want more details on it. I want to see more about it, and we know it's coming next year. It's a 2023 release, so I just suspect we might actually get that upfront date, which then gets postponed, like every game does. But I'd just like to see a date on screen with it.
Yeah. I want to throw one at Dylan now.
Yeah, if we're talking some more indie stuff, I want Doke V to be here again.
That's what I was just about to say to you. I was just going to say we talked about this months ago, and we've got to hear more, right?
Yeah. Yes. So we need more than like a weird music video that they did last time.
That music was the best ever, though.
Oh no! Don't get me wrong. The song is great. I just want more about the game and not a music video.
Give me more of that music and more of the game.
Yeah, it's the game looks weird and crazy, and it's like one of those things where as soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I need this right now in my life. And as Ben knows, This is full on. This is a daytime game.
Yes, it was a daytime game.
It was a daytime game for me.
I saw no nighttime play on
Nope,
that.
no
So,
nighttime.
yeah.
They said there's a day-night cycle, but all I saw was daytime.
Yes.
But yeah, this has been shown up at the Jeff Keighley event, so I'm hoping for a release date because I'm pretty sure it was supposed to come out this year. So
Yeah, I heard that, but I've heard. Well, one thing, they haven't tweeted since January. That's what I looked up earlier because I was like, we haven't heard anything about this game. They haven't tweeted since January. Don't like that. I've
Yeah, that's
also
kinda
heard that
weird.
it might be coming free to play, and people have said about microtransactions and a total change of direction in the game.
Oh.
So
Why are you doing this to me?
well, because I've already done it to myself, and I feel like you're the only one here that cares about Doki.
You want to drag
and I
someone
think
down in the ghost.
we need
Yeah,
to be in
that-
it together. Like I'm beneath the water. I'm flailing. I can't swim, which is true to real life. And so I'm grabbing up and I'm grabbing your foot and dragging you down with me.
Yeah,
We
you are,
must-
because that's like the
Yeah.
exact opposite of what I want from this game. This is not what I want at all.
Yeah, but it will have the music, I'm sure.
That's great, but that's not enough.
I don't know. The music's pretty good, but yeah,
It is good. It is good.
This game to me looked like how I imagined Pokemon should look, and I thought it was fucking awesome, and it was so good. But I really hope that what I've said is absolute bollocks, and I really hope actually that it's a proper full price game.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what I want from it, and just when you make a game that looks so over the top weird like that, it sets something off in my brain that's like I need this because it's so weird and unique, and there's not, I don't remember a game that looked like DokeV before.
No, nothing. This was the most outlandish thing that I'd seen. Whatever show was shown at, I said, was it Summer Games Fest last year, or was it Gamescom or something like that? It was shown at, but
I think it was Summer Games Fest.
Yeah, I
Or
think it was
very close to
announced.
it?
Yeah, announced at Summer Games Fest, and then the Game Awards they had that like music video thing.
Right. Oh yeah, where they just doubled down on the music.
Yep.
Which I wasn't mad at, but when the initial reveal came out, this was one of the stars of the show for me. Like I thought it was fucking brilliant. Like it just looked so unique and fresh.
Yeah, I came out of that show saying that was my highlight of the show. That was like the thing I got the most excited for.
Yeah.
See, this is the thing, because when Ben put it down on notes for one of our things, I had to go, what the hell was that? And rewatch part of it to remember what it was. So I think without the music holding you, it just doesn't quite carry it as much.
You didn't remember from the music. What was this about? Did you watch it on mute or something? Yeah, of course you did.
I think T was quite angry that we kept on talking about the music, Ben. I think that probably didn't help at the time.
Yes.
So
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably just he wasn't really paying attention, just focusing on the anger. Yeah. Okay.
It's the only emotion I process well, all right? Let's not
you don't
harp on
process
about
it
that.
well, Pete. You don't have to keep it inside and maybe, just take it out on your pets or something. I don't know.
Take it
Sorry?
out on your pets.
That's not taking
What?
it well.
Yeah,
Isn't
no,
that how
that's
you're supposed to do it?
Much worse.
This is why I'm not allowed pets.
Yes, good. Jesus. I didn't realise that was legally mandated, but my God. What did you do to that poor cat? Anyway.
Right, move on, man.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a few other things that I would expect we're going to see here, by the way, and that includes Project Relic.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I suspect we're going to see a little bit more on that one. That's the Souls-like multiplayer action game that we saw at Future Game Show last year.
That it looks like a really fast-paced Souls-like. Now, the thing that excites me about that game, not too much the trailer, like it looked fine, but the multiplayer element, because that's the one thing I don't think From Software do well, and that's multiplayer. Because the actual act of doing it's fine, but the fact that somebody has to go into somebody else's world and you only get progress in the story in one world and not both worlds and all this kind of stuff, like that's annoying. Yeah. So if they could do that better, but what I don't think they will though, because this is a 9-person team, Project Relic.
Yeah, it's very small, isn't it?
And I think they're just going to follow. I think this is like a fucking Souls loving, and I think they're just going to do the same process that Souls do on their multiplayer, which will be very disappointing because it's an opportunity to make that better.
True.
But yeah. I want to see more of that game.
I do as well. I mean, I'm not a big fan of the running animation, which is the main thing I remember from that trailer.
Yeah, there was a lot of running.
There was a lot of running, and it's that odd kind of Naruto-style running, if you know what I mean, where the arms are back and static, which I
absolutely,
find
and everything around you is blurred as well as they move around.
Yeah.
It wasn't visually great. I mean, it did look.
the characters look phenomenal, but
they look carbon copies. I mean, in the trailer, it looked like the Capra Demon had just been.
Yes. Yeah, very true.
I mean, they just stole the character. They just stole the boss. But fine, I'm fine with that.
Yeah. And do we all think we're going to see something Saints Row as well? I mean, their release is in August, isn't it? So
yeah, are you hyped for this, Dylan?
Yeah,
Dave that's into it.
Dave is really into Saints Row. I've only played Saints Row 4, and from what I understand, that was like the one not to play, really. So it didn't really hook me, but I'm always kind of on the lookout for like co-op games like this where I could play together with someone. So I'm kind of excited. I'm not all in on the hate that it's gotten.
Okay. Yeah.
I think it looks like
Kirk's
fun.
into it. Yeah, Kirk's into Saints Row. I think not massively, but he's into
the
it.
two people who like it aren't here. That's
it's
going to give us a really balanced side on this. Yeah.
Eddie, you're not a Saints Row person, are you?
No, it's too silly, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, I think
you could have
it is. Yeah,
couldn't you, Ben? Like, that's not Eddie's game at all.
No.
No. So it's not. It's a silly game, silly little game.
But one I would expect Eddie to be interested in is Nightingale. Have any of you heard or seen any of this?
No.
So I can't remember it, but I know that I have and I liked it. So can you remind?
I'm literally copying and pasting to remind myself.
I can
see
it
on the
I
doc.
need to Google this shit.
I was like,
I was
shit.
going to Google this shit.
I feel like I should know this. Oh, damn! And there's a picture of a bird come up. Damn it.
All three of us
At the word
are
game,
going to be googling this.
Eddie. I did this yesterday. So
I'm a
it's
big fan of those birds. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah,
for picking
it's
that
a survival and building open world game.
Oh,
so,
I remember this. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's one of those where it's a medieval fantasy, but you've got early guns as well, which I quite like as a concept. So we know there's a reveal coming very soon because it's still set for a Q4 release this year. We saw some of it at the Game Awards last year, but I would kind of expect a fair bit more on it here, or possibly at that PC gaming show. But I suspect if
lovely.
any PC game is going to be at the Game Awards, it will be this one.
It's got the kind of art style, almost Sea of Thievesy, but just a bit more realistic.
A bit more serious.
A bit more varied.
Yes.
Yeah, but it has got that kind of cartoony Sea of Thievesy theme to it.
The reason why I'm not getting too overly excited is because there are two games this reminds me of, and both were really disappointing. One was Outward, and what was that other one that was really bad? It was like third person. It looks like the same era. Do you remember that one? And you start off and you go off on a boat. I fucking ripped it to shreds.
The French one.
I think it came out on Game Pass, and Ross,
I know the
friend
one.
of the show, spent £45 the week before because it was extortionate price.
I know what you're talking about. Oh,
But you can't
why?
remember what it is either.
Yeah,
No, I can't remember what it is.
I know
Was that
what
the one
that
where it
is.
was the facial animations that got you, Eddie? Like,
I think it was a bit of fucking everything. The fact it was open world and also, but on the map, it like blanked out.
Grenfell.
Oh,
Greedfall?
Greedfall.
Yes.
Very good.
It was that one.
Well done. Yeah, those two
Greedfall.
games remind me of this. Even though this looks like first person, isn't it? So
It is, yeah.
But I was so excited for those two, and I was so let down by them that I'm gonna just play it cool this time.
It's fair enough. I mean, you craft and adapt your own guns, Eddie, just so you know. But yeah.
I'm all in. I bought it. I've pre-ordered it. I've even invested in the team. I'm actually part of the team now.
Fantastic. It's when you sign off in 5 minutes because they've given you work to do that will be a problem.
I'm out.
Yeah. Have you heard of this one, Dylan? Are you in any way interested in this type of game?
It's not my type of game. Once you started to explain it, I was like, yeah, I do remember seeing that, but not really my style.
Fair. Yeah.
Do you find, Dylan, with doing the podcast, because especially when there's two of you, you've got to be playing a lot of games every week. You talk about maybe like 3 games each a week. So if there's a survival game that comes out, it's probably got to kind of pass you by because there's too much of a time sink.
Yeah, I mean when Valheim started to blow up, we did play that for a good week or two, but then it's just like as all these other games are coming out, and it's also just not our big focus, that style of game.
Yeah.
These things, maybe a week or two is what we'll put into it if we like it, and then we just kind of move on.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's
fair.
all we do on this bloody podcast, because you have to. If you don't bring a new game, every week, Ben sends you a nice little message like, "Oh, Eddie, buddy, how about you don't play? Why don't you play this week?" And then if you do the same game 3 weeks, it's Eddie. You should play another game if you're taking this seriously. Oh, all right, Ben.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever sent that message to you ever. That's like completely made up.
We know
I'm
you've typed
fabricated.
it and not sent it.
But I'm glad
Ben
though.
is typing.
No, I'm glad that in your mind I've rented that headspace. That's
Yeah,
fantastic.
The thing is, now I know where you've got this false impression that we can do that. It's from Dave and Dylan doing 3 games a week. I mean, come on, Ben. You're our new games guy.
I don't recommend it. I'm in the middle of like 15 to 20 games right now with no end in sight.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah,
I do listen to your pod, and I'm like, I wish we played more games.
we have no money and
guys
we're not
won't play a
finishing
game.
anything, so I don't recommend it.
Okay. I like that. I like hearing that the grass isn't always greener.
No, it's not.
I'm playing 5 games at the moment, but 4 of them are games that I play all year round. So I think that counts, doesn't it?
No.
Oh, fine. It is. I've got 2 new games to talk about, Ben, next week. So shut
Lovely.
up, all right?
Yeah, fine.
Fantastic. And so I suppose to round out Games Fest, at least from my perspective, I do also think we're going to see more on Christmas. Crimson Desert.
Yep.
If you remember this one, I think there's going to be something there. It would have to be pretty good to get me interested, because I didn't like what I saw of Black Desert Online, but there's enough promise there that there could be something good. And then the other 2 I'd noted down is Plan 8, which is that exosuit FPS MMO game.
I don't know that one.
Have a look. Okay. I think there's bound to be some news soon, because they've been sort of talking about releasing the next year or so.
Okay.
And it looks interesting as a kind of non-Halo futuristic shooter. Like, the exosuits really change how you move around, as we saw with Halo with the grapple hooks and the repulsors and stuff.
It's a Pearl Abyss.
Yes, it's a Pearl Abyss game. So I suspect we'll see something on that.
So what I will say on that, Pete, is that I want to see absolutely nothing on that game, because Pearl Abyss should be focusing on DokeV.
Agreed.
We're not going to see anything DokeV. It's all going to be Plan 8, and you're going to be furious. DokeV delayed to make way for Plan 8.
Well, to be fair, as long as Plan 8's got the same music, I'm fine.
Well, no, they'll just play 3 seconds of that music, but like a sad remix to like move you on from it, and then they'll jump into Plan 8, which will be aggressive death metal as the score. But no, the only other one I'd noted as well was Black Myth Wukong. If you guys have seen anything on that, it is a very strange looking game in that it looks to me a bit like a AAA, at least from what we've seen. But it's a Chinese indie based on a 16th century novel.
I haven't seen
Is this the like kind of Souls-like game?
Yes.
Yeah,
the Souls-like where you're a supernatural monkey king.
Yeah, that game, like, visually is really impressive of what they've shown.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. It's insane for an indie studio. It's mad.
This.
But I am interested to see more.
The main character looks like the kid in Jumanji when he starts turning into a monkey.
Yeah, he is a supernatural monkey king. That's the character in the novel as well, Eddie. I mean,
you're welcome.
I don't know what you're expecting. But those, I do suspect we'll see something on all of these at some point in the next month or so. Anyway,
I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued about this Summer Games Fest because there's things that we know about, but they always bring new stuff to the table. So that's and if you're going to fill a 2-3 hour show, and I know a lot of people do say that they string out too much, and Jeff Keighley, they don't particularly. I love all of it. I buy into the hype so much. I'm all about it. I love a 3 hour show. Except when it's an Xbox
every
Indie
salesman, Ben, loves you. Every salesman in the world wants you as their customer.
Absolutely.
You'll buy into the project before you know anything beyond vague details.
Take my money.
There was once when we were in I think we were in a pub watching the football, and at half time there was a Coke advert, and even though he had a pint in his hand, he went, "I really want a Coke right now." he is a salesman's dream.
It's insane, isn't it? Like, product placement in movies must change Ben's like mood.
Ben leaves
so
the movie
easily.
theater.
Yeah, it was just like he'd see like a beer in a normal random film, and be like, "Oh yeah, I could have a beer," and then 10 seconds later it's a Coke, and then 10 seconds after that it's probably vodka or something else. Like,
I need an energy drink now. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
I gotta
I
say,
love it.
this,
I'm all
this
about
monster
targeted
tastes
ads.
real good right now.
Oh, monster, eh?
if Ben's line goes dead, he's gone to get one. That's the problem.
When people say, "Oh, use a VPN," you know, your data can't be sold and they can't target you for advertising. No, I want to be targeted. I want people to tell me what I should be buying based on things that I do. Fantastic.
I want them to record all my conversations and use offhand comments to give me an idea of my next purchase.
Thank you. I celebrate that.
Oh, Christ. Talking of people selling things to us, does anyone think there's anything else we're going to see at Summer Games Fest? What else do we think is going to be there?
I think we might see more of the Callisto Protocol.
Ooh, okay.
Ooh, okay.
They've been kind of out there. There's like a whole I think Game Informer is running a whole thing on it later this month, but more has been coming out about it. I think they were saying like, yeah, we'll be seeing more soon on the Callisto Protocol, which just screams like Summer Games Fest. So
this is
that
it really
is true.
does, doesn't it? This is the one that's set in the PUBG universe, isn't it?
Yeah, technically, we're thinking that that's just going to mean there's like a pan hanging up somewhere or something, and that's going to be it.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's fair. But it is.
But it looks amazing, though. It looks like it could be amazing. It's one of those, you know, it fits into that same thing when we got like Starfield and all those kind of like games that, I mean, this is more of a survival game, but it's like that kind of dark, kind of mysterious kind of survival game. I think it looks great. It looks visually really good.
Well, this is the thing as well, isn't it? It's by one of the developers of Dead Space.
Absolutely, that's what I mean. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a prisoner in the midst of an alien invasion. That's yeah.
Like, I love the space stuff that's coming. Like, because now we're getting to the age where the consoles can really push the boat on that stuff. Like, that this fits into that bracket perfectly. It's the perfect time for it.
Yeah. Ideal. Any more?
Need for Speed.
Okay, no, you guys.
Yeah. I think EA they're not doing their own specific showcase, so I think Need for Speed will be shown. Back to you, Dylan.
What do we think with the recent leaks? I think this is just kind of in my head right now. Do we think we see anything Silent Hill?
I suspect there's going to be some mention of it at one or two things this summer. I'm not sure if it's going to be Games Fest.
Do you think? Like,
Games Fest.
I know there are leaks happening left, right, and centre, but I don't think they're I don't know. Like, it's got to happen sometime, and it's been rumoured for the last couple of years. So this is as good an event as any. But I think that could be a show ender if it did. Like, that's the end of the show if that.
Do we also think it's probably going to be like 10 seconds pure CGI?
Of course.
And then like a name, and that's
Every
it.
single one of these events ever. Yeah.
It's just going to say Silent Hill on the screen.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they've said there's like multiple Silent Hill games in the works right now, so I don't even know what that really means.
Yeah. It's an interesting one, but I could see something, but I think it will be a 10-second jobby if it's anything.
Yeah, definitely with you.
Yeah. And then, go on, Dylan. If you've got any more, throw them in there.
I actually have two more, if you want me to just throw them in.
Yeah.
Go for it.
I kind of put this here because I didn't know where Ubisoft was going to fit in with everything. But that new Avatar movie's coming out later this year, right?
Yes.
So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more Avatar, The Frontiers of Pandora, and they try to tie that in with like the movie release.
So I think Sony have the marketing rights to that game.
Oh, do they?
Yes.
I think they do.
I believe so, yeah.
I read something that suggested that, but I don't think it's confirmed. But so either Summer Games Fest, if Sony haven't, or I think that could be in Sony's presentation.
Yeah, if they have the marketing rights, that'll be with them.
Yeah.
But then also Marvel's Midnight Suns, which I think was announced at a Jeff Keighley thing.
I think it was, yeah.
But that recently got rated, which means it's probably just about done. So,
is that a card game actually? Did that turn out to be a card game?
no, this is the it's like XCOM essentially.
XCOM. Okay, it's like XCOM. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That could be really good.
That's
Because
all I got.
I remember seeing the initial trailer, and it was just all CGI, wasn't it? And we didn't know what type of game it was.
Yeah, the initial trailer was all CGI, and then it was like not long after they started to put some more stuff out because everyone was really excited.
Yeah.
And then they're like, it's kind of XCOM, and at least for me personally, I was like, oh, all right.
Do we know
right,
what?
yeah.
Do we know what consoles that's coming to? Because I know it's coming to PC, but I don't know what else it's going to be on.
I think it's probably on all of them. I think it may even be on Switch.
That's fair.
Because I remember Kirk and I did a video a while ago about games coming in 2022, and that was certainly one of them. And I think we said that it was all consoles.
Fair. Yeah, this is the thing, because we do know it is being released. Yeah, that's just a really good shout. It's definitely coming this year. I'd expect to see something. Stir the hype.
If it's been rated, that's a great that's a great indication, isn't it? So
it's still staying on Steam release this year as well, so yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
My
Okay,
God,
good.
there's a lot for them to get through if they do all of this, isn't there?
They won't do any of this, and they'll do all new stuff. So
It'll be stuff we've never heard of, and it'll all be coming 5 years away. No, that's more like what I'm expecting from the Xbox showcase, if I'm honest. So, shall we move on to that?
yes, Xbox,
And I think
that's going to be 2 hours of wonderful day one Game Pass stuff, I'm sure.
I mean, I would expect it to be 2 hours, to be fair. But
Yeah.
we should probably address the elephant in the room first, or not in the room first, which is obviously Starfield and Redfall. Now, what do we think we're going to see of these two at the Xbox showcase?
I think they have to show these games, both of them. I think they have to show some gameplay of Starfield, else people will start to be like, "What's going on?" I think they have to pacify the audience a bit with those two.
Ooh, do you not think it might even be smarter just to not get people thinking about it and show all the other games instead? Like tactically marketing away from the whole controversy?
That's a bold move if they went that way. That is a very bold
Well,
move.
do you know what I mean? Like, if they go, this is what Starfield is, this is huge. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm being devil's advocate. I do think they will show something quite impressive. But wouldn't it be clever if they just, people might get pissed off and go like, well, I've seen this, but you remind me that it's actually coming out next year. I just, could be a tactic.
It could. I mean, the problem for me is we still don't really know what Starfield is.
No,
you know
we
what
got
I mean?
that
We
fucking
haven't.
small little thing, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't seen gameplay. Everyone just goes, it's Skyrim in space.
Yes,
and then,
that's what everyone keeps on saying. Yeah.
And then you get a bunch of people going, well, is that No Man's Sky scale, or are we looking at smaller, bigger? Where exactly in the range are we going to fall? Because let's be realistic, it's not going to be the size of No Man's Sky, but it's going to be a hell of a lot more dense, most likely.
I think they need to go
with some real idea.
I think they need to go away from the Outer Wilds look as well. So yeah, I'm really interested to see what kind of game that's going to be.
Am I the only one that's not super upset about it being delayed?
Yes.
I'm also not too bothered. Yeah.
It's like, don't get me wrong, I'm excited for Starfield. I want to play it.
Yeah.
But I think everyone's trying to avoid being the next Cyberpunk at this point. And and I'm just kind of like, I've got a million games right now. If you want to push these back, then be my guest. Make it better.
What I think what gets me is just that they set a date. Like, I just I don't care when you release your game. Like, release it when it's done, obviously. Like, but they set a date, and Bethesda are known for releasing things not in a great state. And you know what happened to Cyberpunk, and you know what's going on here. Like, you didn't have to say the date.
No,
they actually probably said the date before Cyberpunk came out. I don't know. That would have been before that, surely. But they didn't have to say the date, and I think that's the part that's disappointed people. And it's not annoying; it's just disappointing. Like, I want to play that game because actually looking towards the end of the year, like, I don't have any that I know about that big a game. Like, Starfield to me is the one that I'd be looking forward to. So it's a bit disappointing that it's a year away. But
you're toning yourself down, Ben. But we know you're furious. Go on.
Actually livid.
I also wanted it to be this year because I really do see this year the amount of good games have come out this year. I think is amazing compared to the past 5 years anyway. And I think the amount of world-class games is probably the best we've had in like 5 years. So I really wanted this one so that it was like the beginning half was all about Elden Ring, the end half was all about Starfield.
And God of War, yeah, because then you've got a 3-way playoff, like, for Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Like, legit like, kind of.
If a couple of these games came out this year, then the Game of the Year contending could be a hell of a show. But
exactly. Now Starfield's pushed.
Yeah.
But,
so now it's
Elden Ring.
Elden Ring, yeah, it's Elden Ring. Oh, no. Kirk said it could be that Tunic game with the fox.
He did say that, yeah. But he couldn't play Elden Ring because he would not be able to deal with it.
What about Redfall, Dylan? Were you into that?
Yeah, so, I mean, we only saw that like CG trailer, but like I said before, I'm always kind of like looking for these co-op games. So
yeah.
It came out that it's kind of supposed to be kind of Borderlands-like, at least in terms of like loot and everything. So yeah, I'm excited. That one, I'm more surprised about that one than Starfield getting delayed.
Yes, because it was so close, right? Wasn't Redfall supposed to be like next month or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was close. Like, and Starfield, they gave a release date at like the end of the year, and it was so early when they gave it that we were kind of like, all right, that might get delayed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, we said it, didn't we? When we did our joint pod at the end of last year, we said Starfield was a likely contender for delay.
Yep, that and Breath of the Wild 2, and here we are.
Yeah, guess what? Yeah, exactly. But Redfall, I didn't expect that because it was so close to its actual release. But maybe they were just combining them at the same time so that people kind of forgot about Redfall and focused on the Starfield thing. They didn't want to have two. They didn't want to say Redfall in like March and then Starfield 3 months later or something. So
I know Dave was telling me that apparently, like, kind of behind the scenes, there was some play testing going on with Redfall, and they were like, we gotta rework some stuff with this one.
This game doesn't work.
Yeah, so I guess we'll see what happens with that. But that one was more surprising to me.
Yeah, that kind of leads on to I think they'll be pushing Deathloop as if it's a new game.
Oh, they're gonna pretend anyone cares about Deathloop now. Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean,
they're gonna be like, oh yeah, but don't worry, Xbox has got Deathloop, and everyone's gonna go, okay.
Yeah. But this kind of leads us nicely into that. Leads us nicely into what I'm expecting from this, by the way, which is, and I'll list a few of them off here, like Avowed, Fable 4, Forza. I know Kirk's not here, but we may as well put Forza in this bracket, and the next Elder Scrolls. I think we're going to see them mentioned, and that's about it. You know what I mean? Like,
I wouldn't be surprised if
CGI trailers.
I wouldn't be surprised if Forza Motorsport has something a bit more concrete, and they look towards the back end of the year to release something.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be surprised by that 3 years ago. Like,
it's a good point. Like Forza, it seems like it could be any time. They're not talking about it, but I think it'll probably be just near being ready to be released and then just done. I can only imagine that Xbox had a couple of other things coming into the back end of this year that they're going to be announcing that will pick up the slack a little bit.
That's okay. Reasonable. And despite having just mentioned it, I will say I do think we might actually get a little bit more of Elder Scrolls 6 than people are predicting. Yeah, I do. I was looking back at that reveal trailer and noticing it was 2019 since they did a 30-second reveal trailer.
Wow, Jesus Christ, 3 years ago.
3 years since they did that. Yeah, so I suspect we might get something a little more. And
we have to see more,
that
surely.
Sort of release date of 2024, 2025. I could see popping up. Yeah, you see what I mean? The moment I noticed it was 3 years ago, I was like, I think we're going to get more on that. Especially as Todd Howard, what was it, a few months ago, he was doing an Ask Us Anything on Reddit, and mentioned there was quite a bit upcoming with Elder Scrolls 6. So
yeah, you can't, because they wouldn't have put that on the screen at like the start of development. Surely they would have been going on it for a while. You'd think they'd be working on it for a year or so on and off before they even.
That's like that first reveal trailer, which we had for Cyberpunk in 2013. You remember? So it's quite a long time before.
That was a special case. I mean, to work 9 years on a game or something is quite extreme.
Yeah. I think we're gonna get at most like a little trailer that's all cinematic.
Yeah.
But I don't think we're gonna get too much, because when they did that was a back-to-back thing, right? When they did Elder Scrolls 6 and Starfield.
Yes.
It was, not long after that where they were like, Starfield is first. That's going to be coming out first, and then Elder Scrolls. And we still haven't seen any gameplay from Starfield.
That is true.
Yeah. But they have to pick up the slack now. Like, I think they have to be putting out a bit of a showing. I think maybe we will get a CG trailer, but I think they have to be talking about it, because
they are still doing their old online shit, aren't they?
Well, yeah, Elder Scrolls Online is going well.
Yeah, exactly. And I do you remember? It might have been on the podcast. It might even be before it. I said exactly this would happen if fucking Elder Scrolls Online came out. Is they wouldn't prioritize things like this. I mean, it would be fucking years before we get a new Skyrim. But hey, I hate being right.
But this is why I think we might get a year flash up. I think they might want to do it to make up for some of the hype busting that's happened with the delays. So
yeah, I think 2024 could be the year.
I still think it might be later still.
Oh Christ!
No, they'll say 2024 and then delay it when it's a month before.
Yep, that sounds right. Yep.
Yeah. Well, there was also that sort of offhand comments in a couple of things with Todd Howard, where he's mentioned there being 15 years between games, and Skyrim was 2011.
Fuck. So.
Oh, yeah, that feels wrong.
Like, yeah, but
they didn't bring out Fallout. They brought out Fallout 76, which we all agree is a very good game.
Have you had a stroke, Eddie?
Help me. Think fast. No, I actually agree with Ben. I think they need to get. I think they need something big to get away from the whole controversy. And Pete, I'm not mad at that. If they showed even something, like the fucking what was that? What's the horror game? Dead Space, where that trailer was literally just it was nothing. But even if they have something like that, just to stop people talking about Starfield and start talking about something else, I would fucking love that. I would be over the moon if I see that.
Yeah, and I could easily see them doing a sort of bait and switch through the rest of this year, where they get us excited for Elder Scrolls and another thing that I'll mention later. And then rebuild the hype for Starfield through releases through the back half of this year. I kind of think that could be a method.
And having those things in people's minds, and this isn't probably a very good... Well, it probably is a very good tactic. If Starfield fucks up, then people can go... They can bring something forward and go, right, let's release a trailer to the new Elder Scrolls. Basically, little ways just to stop people going on and on about how shit it is. Because, let's be honest, like... how do I put this? It wasn't so much of a fuck up. The I forgot what the fucking name of the big game. Cyberpunk, right? It was a bad start, but everyone talked about it, and that's all anyone spoke about. We talk about it on every single podcast. Every podcast I've ever listened to was only talking about that because they had nothing else to focus on. The updates from CD Projekt Red weren't frequent enough. They weren't communicating with anyone that well, so it just got people talking and talking and talking. I think putting the new Elder Scrolls out would be a smart move for so many reasons, and I want it. That's why I'm so passionate.
Okay, there we go.
I'm with you.
There's the real reason.
Yeah. Now I've also. To move us on slightly from this, I've also noticed on this document, Ben, Diablo 4, Christmas 2022, let's go.
Yeah, baby. Here we go.
I feel maybe you're feeling the same way as Eddie would be about Elder Scrolls there.
Now we're talking about the big news. So,
are you eating, Ben?
Are you munching in the background?
Are you fucking serious?
I didn't think it would go to me.
For God's sake.
It's so obvious, it's beyond belief.
But yeah, because the Activision stuff is going through in the background,
do you want to swallow?
Think that
do you want to swallow, buddy?
No,
Ben,
no,
get it down.
Don't worry.
Pete or I did this during the podcast, we'd get one of those messages, wouldn't we? Afterwards, hey Eddie, buddy, do you mind not eating? You know, one of them.
You're banned from the podcast for a week until you sort of out.
Again, just for listeners, that message has never happened.
No, he does it by call.
You know what I know? And I'm going to say this to our listeners. That week, was it 2 weeks ago when I wasn't on the podcast, I still get notifications from our recording device, and I just saw Ben saying, Pete, stop fucking banging. And then 2 minutes later, you're still fucking banging. That's the kind of messages we get from Ben.
Yeah, did do that one. Bit more aggression attached.
I like to move around, all right? I like to move.
Yeah, I don't do anything like, oh, hey, how you doing?
I listen to Dylan's podcast, and they seem so nice. I wish I was on their podcast.
Right, should we get back to Diablo 4? So, while that deal was going on in the background, I think they'll declare this as Game Pass day one. They won't declare it as an Xbox PC exclusive, but because the deal wasn't done. But I think it could, or at least they could take it away from PlayStation. And still put it on the Switch, please, because I want it on there. But Switch, Xbox, and PC, that's what I think that's going to go for. But I think this is going to come out sooner rather than later. I think
Christmas 22, ambitious.
Christmas 22, that was my ambitious thought. But I wouldn't be surprised if it came out early next year. And I know everything is being pushed to early next year, and it's going to be an absolute clusterfuck of games. But Diablo 4, it's been in development a long time. I remember a year ago seeing stuff on because they showed Diablo 2 remastered and Diablo 4 like basically at the same time, and Diablo 4 was looking very good, and that was quite some time ago.
Yeah, you've been hyped about this for years, Ben.
Really, since playing Diablo 3 and being like, wow, this is a serious upgrade for me on Diablo 2. Like it was just. For me, it was where I wanted it to go, and it was fantastic on console as a result. Diablo 4 is just going to be more of the same. That's going to be fucking awesome. I can't wait for that game. Christmas 22.
I like your ambition. I reckon you're a year ahead of yourself.
Yeah, probably.
A full year. Yeah.
Can I go back to eating?
God, no. Why can't you wait, Ben?
Why didn't you have it before? I wolfed down my lunch, as we talked about before, to get here on time.
Dylan, have you had breakfast yet?
No.
Come on, Ben, you can cope.
But that's hellish for you, man.
You're the responsible one here.
Let's move this on, guys. Come on.
Do you want one where it's someone other than you talking?
Yes, yeah, go for it.
So we won't look at Perfect Dark or Scorn for now. Let's talk about Project Cobalt. Let's talk about that, which Ben will want to pipe up on, but hopefully he's too busy chewing. This is already, bloody hell. This is the unannounced Xbox exclusive coming from Wasteland creators In Exile. So, yeah, we know it's codenamed Cobalt, and we know it's rumoured to be a steampunk-themed first-person shooter RPG. Yeah? Yeah. And I find this one interesting for a couple of reasons. Part of it being that these are the guys who made the original Fallout and Fallout 2 back when it was Interplay.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, Bethesda and Obsidian are now all under the same hood, like they're all together. And Project Cobalt, as a note, was a thing in Fallout 4. Do you remember the Nuke World expansion, Eddie? Mm-hmm. In that, there is an organisation called Project Cobalt.
I know, because when I did my research, that's the first thing that fucking came up.
Yeah, there you go. So, I'm intrigued by that choice of name from a studio that are involved in the Fallout series. And particularly because I think there is a bit of a gap in Fallout. We've mentioned a couple times on the pod the possibility of a New Vegas 2 with Obsidian. which I would be really interested in because I still think New Vegas is the best one.
Does Fallout fall into that category of steampunk, would you say? Is that...
That's the bit that kind of throws you off. It's more like atom punk, isn't it? Fallout.
I don't know what the difference between these things are.
It's not.
I never
it's
really.
the first word that changes. You never
atom punk. What the fuck's atom punk?
Yeah, that's I don't know. I can half recognize steampunk, and then everything else is like, that's kind of steampunk, right?
Oh mate, we had noir punk last week, which is just noir. That's what that is, but they just added the word punk to it. I mean,
noir, steam, and atom. To me, all interchangeable. What are you talking about? I kind of get what it is, but aren't they all the same? Well, no, I've put atom in there. I've never heard of atom punk. What are you talking about?
Do you literally see the world in black and white, Ben? Is that how you could link all of this together? It's that sort of post-nuclear apocalypse look that you get. So, Fallout is one of the very definitions of it. No, steampunk is medieval fantasy with steam machines.
Industrialized.
Yeah, industrialized fantasy is that. This is like that. A lot of it actually, I think, comes from Fallout and that sort of 50s look somehow existing far into the future because we've destroyed ourselves. That's atom punk.
Okay. Yeah. I'll take your word for it.
I think Beats is making this up.
Literally, you can flip and Google it. Every single punk already exists, boys, and we know it. Okay?
Is there a samurai punk?
I'm pretty certain, actually, there is.
Trek to Yomi, the most recent samurai punk game.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I think we had Sky Punk on a recent one as well.
I think we did. But getting back to this game, are you saying this is a new Fallout or not?
I'm saying, I'd kind of like to take a punt and say it's going to be more Fallout related than we think.
Ooh, naughty.
An industrialized Fallout.
Could be. Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Look, I'm just saying, why pick a name that's present in one of the other games already? It's... I suppose, actually, it's a good time. We did say we do these at the end, but the big prediction things, mine I've kind of almost talked about. I suspect we're going to get something big for ES6, like a title and release date, and I suspect we're going to get something big Fallout. I don't know why, I just think that's what's going to happen at the Xbox Bethesda showcase.
Okay, cheers for that spoiler for the end of the show, Pete. But that's
good.
Well,
I've been already bloody talking about them, and I'm already describing them in detail. It's a bit pointless to go, I've already said them at the end. Spoilers.
Okay.
You can save yours where you're not talking about them at all, but those are mine.
What even is mine? Oh, yeah.
But I suppose we've been dominating the airwaves on this one a bit. Dylan, what are you expecting from Xbox here?
I am kind of really expecting Gear 6 to be here.
Oh.
It's been what, 3 years now? I think that was the difference between 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I am you guys play Gears 5?
I do not.
No, I played Gears 4. The last one I played was 4.
Okay. 5 ends on kind of you make a big decision, right, and then the game kind of ends, and I'm very curious what they do with that in a Gears 6.
It's going to be a Mass Effect kind of conundrum, isn't it?
Right, where
how do you pick which way to go?
Yeah, and the new Mass Effect from what they've shown, it seems like they're kind of picking one of the endings to be canon. So I not going to go into major spoilers, but you essentially get to pick between a couple characters who lives and who dies. And do they just pick that, or are they making
canon ending?
Two paths of, in your game, this character's alive?
Yeah,
because you either choose an ending as canon, or that's weird. I think the real question that we're all thinking, and correct me if I'm wrong, is what type of punk is Gears of War?
That's Gear Punk.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I needed to know.
War Punk.
I mean, gear punk is also a thing.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Oh, Pete.
Is there?
I have to do this.
I told you there's one for all of them, and they're
when
horrible.
I see Gears, I think of steampunk.
It's related.
Yeah.
It's related.
Right?
Yeah.
Is it? It's
There's
related,
also, guys. There's also clock punk. I don't know how they differ. I
That's
just know
also
that
just
these terms
steampunk.
exist. I know.
Alice in Wonderland? I don't know.
Yeah. Look, I'm not supporting it in any way. I'm just saying they do exist. Apparently there is punk, which just...
What are we doing?
What the fuck is punk?
just makes me think of who the fuck is Noob when you say that.
But yeah, Gears 6. I think that's a great shout. Haven't really thought about one, but it's one of the biggest franchises that Xbox have. So they need to continue the train of these, because there will come a time, because they've got these delays, there will come a time where Xbox are just releasing every single month. They're releasing a big game. So yeah, I think Gears is to add to that list.
Yeah, very good call. I wouldn't be surprised if we see something. Do we think it's CGI trailer stages, or are you hoping for something more meaty?
I don't think when it comes to Gears, I need something more meaty, because even though there's going to be Gears 6 there, you know what you're getting with Gears. Like,
yes,
it's Gears of War. And I do think 5 was a pretty big step up from 4, which I thought was like mediocre. At least in terms of like narrative, which is I'm there for like that cool style and to see the characters.
Yeah, fair. And they're not going to change a winning formula, are they? Like, there's no need to.
No, especially not with I think if they were to do a big change, it would be with like a Gears 7 after they close out this trilogy.
Yeah, very good point. God, yeah, they do function in trilogies. I've only literally played the first couple of those and not looked back since, so I really should.
Yeah, what was the one that had...
is kind of my thing, so...
I didn't really get that. I hate bullet spongy, and let's be honest, I think that game is the king of bullet spongies. But there was one of them that had a horde mode, and me and my housemate used to play the shit out of that. Do you know what that one I'm talking about?
No.
Was it a horde mode? It was like different waves or something? Both of us could play together.
I think that the Gears has kind of had that kind of mode for a little while now. I'm only in it for like the campaign, really.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think probably, Eddie, you're talking Gears 2 or 3.
Right, okay. Yeah, I used to play the shit out of that. That was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what else do we think we're going to get from Xbox? Because we still got Sony and Nintendo to cover, guys.
Yeah, so. I think we'll see something Perfect Dark, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's not an awful lot, because I think we've heard that there's some troubles behind that scene. Scorn, we haven't heard about that for ages. That's the survival biopunk game. But we haven't heard much of that. And then there's Pediment, which I don't really know much about. We haven't heard, but that's a big one. And Contraband. Yeah, so I think they have... The thing is, they've got a lot on their list. They do have a lot that we do know about, and they've got 20-odd studios. You've got 20 studios, and you just bring one game from each of those studios and just say what they're working on.
How about Outer Worlds 2? Because we saw that awesome trailer. When was that?
Oh, yes, because that's Obsidian, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a real big shout. Surely they've got to show Outer Worlds 2.
Do you remember that? Yeah, because we had the... I remember... thinking it was the
funny
perfect trailer. Yeah, because wasn't it like taking the piss out of all the other trailers?
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah,
really good.
Yeah, so I think maybe some gameplay footage this time.
Yeah, Eddie, that's a real good show. I hadn't thought of that one. How about that Indiana Jones game?
Ooh,
God, we've got to see something to see that exist.
I want to see that.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So, and then one that you've probably forgotten about, Everwild. The one from Rare.
Yeah.
Like, because the 2 CGI trailers and then nothing ever since.
So yeah, I don't think we're gonna be seeing that, because I don't know if you remember from last year, the game got like rebooted last year, and they're kind of like going a different direction. They said maybe a 2024 release date.
Ooh.
Right, was it a full Metroid Prime 4 kind of thing?
I don't know if it was that bad, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe not then. Maybe not. But Rare, what the hell are they only working on one game now? Like, we need to...
It sounds like they've basically turned it into 2 games because they ruined it the first time around. So, that could take a lot of their time.
But, I think that's what I've got for Xbox. I don't know if Dylan's got any more.
Yeah, just 2 more. Nothing big, but I do want to see a Plague Tale Requiem. So I really enjoyed that first one.
Yes.
And Hellblade 2, Senua's Saga.
Of course.
I want a release date for that.
Fair. When?
Yes.
Speaking of release dates, when are we expecting Requiem?
This year.
This
It
year.
is this year, isn't it? Yeah,
Yep.
so we've got to
This
see
year.
more of that.
Yeah, and that'll be that'll be a day one Game Pass.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I suspect it will be a timed exclusive again for Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that is a big game actually, isn't it? So yeah, look forward to that one.
Yeah, that first one
Excellent.
really surprised me when it came out.
Yeah, it was a good game, and it looked fantastic.
Yeah.
Excellent graphics, stunning.
Did you do a little stream of that, Ben?
No, I've started recording.
You've recorded it.
I'm starting recording a playthrough of it to put on YouTube. Yeah,
That was it. Yeah, fair. I do remember that. It did look gorgeous.
Yeah, stunning game.
ridiculously pretty for what I was expecting anyway. Okay, so I mean, it's a pretty packed showcase for Xbox if any and all of this happens. And I do kind of want to pose the question of what do you think from all of this would make up for Starfield, or would move the attention away from Starfield for a little bit? And let's not attach Redfall to that, because let's be honest, no one's that hyped for Redfall comparatively. So what is it you think would move people past it of all that stuff we've discussed?
It's got to be Elder Scrolls, but for me it'd be Diablo 4.
Okay. And Eddie, I guess you think Elder Scrolls as well?
Yeah.
Would you agree with this, Dylan?
Yeah, it would. If they had a big Elder Scrolls showing, that would completely take over the whole thing.
Yeah. So, okay, I'm going to continue hoping that is the case and we get a massive thing on AS6, or even just a 30-second trailer with the date at the end. And year, not full day-to-day date, otherwise Ben will lose his mind. So, let's move on to Sony, shall we?
Yes.
And I mean, this is where I kind of have to lean on Ben more, because I don't own a Sony console, so...
Well, it's hard. This one's hard though, because as I said at the start, it's hard to think of what Sony are going to talk about, and this is where Dylan said, and I have to agree, that Sony are under the pressure. And a lot of the stuff that they'll be talking about, I think, in their presentation when they do one, and we're thinking it could be June, it could be July, because they like to distance themselves anyway.
True.
It's just the ones they've got marketing rights to. I mean, we talked about in our pod, Dylan, Hogwarts Legacy, and it looked fantastic when they recently did that state of play, didn't it? It looked fucking brilliant. We all
God,
talked about
I'm
it
so
as well.
excited for that
Absolutely
game.
Now they've got the marketing rights to that. I'm sure they're going to show that again, because that'll get a release date. Surely, to Christ, that's got to come out this year, and it looks excellent. And God of War, again, got to have a release date for that. Hoping it's going to be this year. Could be pushed. You never know. But release date to cement it in. Beyond that, you're now going, okay, what do we know? We know Forspoken exists, and that has got a lot of haters, and I myself think it looks worse every time I see it.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think it's doing anything to. No, I think the more they show, the more you go. What do you think?
So when they the cinematics, like a lot of when people are talking and they're showing that, I'm like, that doesn't look too great. But when they show gameplay, and of course, it looks good for the trailer. I don't know what it's going to actually feel like. It looks real cool to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
okay. That's good.
The jumping around. I mean, it depends how open it is, because they are showing a lot of openness. So if you can actually do that weird air jumping around the whole world, that's what I want. The crazy cool spells you're doing, I want that.
That's what I think I felt initially, and I don't know, every trailer I've seen since, or every little bit that you've got since, is I wasn't so hyped for, and then it got delayed, and then you're like, well, something's not quite right then. So we wait on Forspoken, but it is obviously a big PlayStation exclusive for this year. But beyond that, unless I'm missing something, there's a couple of ones. They've got Stray, which is that indie kind of cyberpunk cat game.
Yes,
Annapurna Interactive.
I do think we'll see that.
That's its exclusive, so I think they'll have a date for that. And then we're into a bit of unknown territory. So we've got The Last of Us Remake, which is heavily, heavily rumoured.
We don't need that.
We don't need that.
We just don't need that.
Jesus,
There's no. I don't know anybody that's going, we need a Last of Us remake. So, but they'll do it. They'll sell loads of copies, and everyone will buy it, and blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but
welcome to Sony. Yeah.
Yep. I think that multiplayer though, off the back of Last of Us 2, which was rumored, talked about, I think that could be something. I think that's going to be one of their live service games.
Okay.
Yeah, that would actually make sense.
And I don't think it's going to be an update. I don't think it's going to be a DLC or anything. I think it's going to be a separate game, and it's going to be a live service game. And, you know, they've said there's 16 of them or whatever over 3 years. That, for me, is one of them, like in a factions mode or something. That could be really, really good. And then you're on to, I think, just other games that they've got marketing rights to. So they've got Final Fantasy 16.
They do. Yeah.
They've got Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what else is there. I think they need to be showing things.
There's going to be Sonic Frontiers because that is due for release this year, and they might want to try and make a big deal of that.
I don't know if they've got the marketing rights to that or what. Like, I don't know who does, and that could be in Summer Games Fest, if not.
That is fair, I suppose. Yeah.
I need to see more of that game.
Well, Dylan, have you got any big ones for Sony? Because
I wouldn't be. So this is slated for 2023, but I would not be surprised if we see more Spider-Man.
Okay.
You think they'll show that? Yeah, I think that would be great if they did.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a huge showing. Probably just kind of more what they showed last time. But considering how early they teased like Wolverine and everything, and that's gonna be after Spider-Man.
Yes.
I think they kind of have to have Spider-Man here for a big showing.
Fair.
And you mentioned Wolverine.
Yeah, I don't
think they're going to show more of that?
No, I don't think so. I don't think you really can show much until you're getting closer to Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, perhaps so. So, and I think that one, they only showed that like bar scene, didn't they? I mean, for both of those, they showed CG only, didn't they? So previously. But
yeah, Wolverine, even like you didn't even really see Wolverine, you just saw his hand with the claws coming out.
Yes, yeah. I would like something. If they showed something from both of those, that would steal the season, wouldn't it? Like that, they are two huge games.
Yeah, and I don't remember if this was ever answered, but are they doing like their weird now video game Marvel universe thing? Like, is there gonna be any connection between Spider-Man and Wolverine?
Yeah, I don't think that is answered. I don't think. I don't know what they're up to.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Final Fantasy 16, do you think we see any of that Final Fantasy 7 Part 2 or whatever it's gonna be called?
Oh yeah,
I think we really could. Yeah.
That's a really good shout because that's kind of just like gone away a bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great game. Everyone loved it, and kind of silent since then.
It was really good. The combat was really good. Like I enjoyed it. I thought it was. I thought it was a really good game, and it's just the second. I thought it'd be a bit more that they'd make an announcement about the second game quite quickly because the story's already known. It's not like you're holding anything back, and also I think they're probably developing all of that game in one. Like, it's not like they make one game, then they make the next game. Like, it's all kind of following on from each other. You know, use the same assets. It's not overhauling anything. And I thought it was more of an almost episodic. It's not episodic, but it's almost episodic in that nature. It's the same game, but just the next part. So it's weird that we haven't heard more. So this does make sense for it to be time.
It really does.
I also wanted to, because I'm very intrigued by the whole abandoned fiasco, and I can't help but wonder if there's an abandoned thing.
No, you're never gonna find out. Just let it go. Let it go. I would. You know what? I'd fucking love it. I'd love it if something came out and it was a real game and it was I'd love it so much.
I never bought into any of the rumors about like, oh, it's a Kojima game and like it's a Silent Hill game. Like, I'm just so fascinated by the whole situation.
Yes. How did it get to this stage?
I have
no idea. How did it even happen? What? Why? Why was this ever allowed? Why was Sony? Why was somebody on Sony's side bigging up this game that, as it stands, doesn't even fucking exist.
Yeah.
Like, it's... Like that, it's crazy that it even got to this. That Sony were even that it was allowed to be talked about in the same breath as Sony.
And then they launched that app, and it was supposed to play a trailer, but it was all broken and nothing worked. Yeah.
And it was 10 seconds long, and it was what everyone had seen before. It's just it's mind-boggling, absolutely mind-boggling. And you're either going to hear absolutely nothing about it ever again, or it's a real fucking game. And I would love that, because so many people on Twitter lord it over. No, we said it all along. It's something I bloody love it. I would love it if it was a real game. I'd buy it in an instant. I put a pre-order in.
I gotta say, it could be the most generic game ever, and I will play it just because of this whole thing.
100%, 100%. Because if it's a real game, it's a masterclass. It's an absolute masterclass in getting people to buy it. Now I'm excited for Sony. You've done it. That's great. Any more of those?
Not to that level. Wasn't Twisted Metal? Isn't that rumored to be a PlayStation exclusive?
Oh yeah, I think that is. Yep, I think that is.
And that probably ties into their games as a live service deal.
Yes, because I think maybe we are if you put together everything that we know, maybe it goes down from 16 to 8 or something like that. But they've got, I think when we did a news story about 6 months ago or something, we had a quote from them saying they had 25 games in development, of which 16 were new IPs and live service, all this kind of stuff. So they've got the same number as Xbox in development. So we need to start seeing some of these. They need to really start pushing them out, I think.
God, it would be nice, wouldn't it? Just some
because
kind
otherwise,
of tangibleness.
Because otherwise, Sony, I don't think, are looking that strong over the next 12 to 18 months. I know you got Spider-Man. I know you got Wolverine. But if you're not into Spider-Man, you're probably not into Wolverine.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So if you don't... So if you're not a Spider-Man fan, then... Are you basically saying there's not a lot for you? I mean, surely you can't hang your hat on just God of War. You have to have something else.
I
big.
always see, when I look at this and I see both of these massive companies just kind of relying on a few things here and there, I'm always coming back to, are they just waiting for a time when they can get more hardware to people? More of the new consoles before. Is that why everything's getting pushed back? Are they just trying to buy more time to get more consoles out?
I don't think so, because there's 20 million PlayStation 5s out there now.
Exactly, There's
20 million of them,
right.
So you can't hold back now. You've got to just go, right, it is what it is. I could understand maybe trying to get more PS4 versions of God of War and things like that, but...
And I suppose we're not seeing any end to the chip shortage, so what are you pushing back
2-3 years. So
2027?
unless you elongate the generation.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly, yeah.
They'll be pushing their PlayStation Plus thing too.
That's going to be the big thing in this, isn't it?
Yes.
I think a lot of it is going to be featuring all the best stuff on PlayStation Plus and its features and everything else. I think that's going to be a big chunk of their show. Yeah,
that's true, because PlayStation Plus will just be coming out. I don't know when you guys get it in America. We get it quite late in the day. We get it at the end of next month.
I think we're getting it a week earlier than you, maybe 2 weeks.
Yeah, that's what I thought as well. It's mid-May for you guys, isn't it?
Mid-June, yeah.
Mid-June.
Yeah. That is going to be... I think that'll be the main chunk.
So it would work out, because then everyone would have it for a couple of weeks,
right.
And so they could start pushing it. They might even drop some games on it during the event, maybe.
I mean, I don't know if I want to pull a Pete here, but I do have my big prediction for the end is involved with this.
Oh, go on, do it.
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Let's build some hype. Pete's ruined it, and he has to live with that. He has to live with that. That's fine. But we'll all keep ours to the end, like we were planning to. And
all right. Well, that was just a little tease. That's all.
I like that.
I feel bad because mine's shit, so I think I need to come up with a new one now.
Well, you've got about 10 minutes.
I was going to say 3 minutes because we're moving on to Nintendo and only Ben will care. I'm kidding.
No, I'm sure Dylan cares.
Oh, I care.
Okay, good. Ben's got someone to talk to for once. Yeah, I'm just going to mute and go and eat some food.
Yeah, let's go eat some food.
Nintendo is a hard conversation in this podcast because nobody has a Switch, nobody cares, and they make comments, and it's just it just gets me down. But that's fine.
And I'm not a 12-year-old boy. So
yeah, and and we're not, and he's not 12.
We don't have tiny hands,
Don't have tiny hands. Fine.
I
mean, I use a Satisfy grip, so just come on, guys. Right. My big question, Dylan, is: do you think Nintendo are going to hold a Treehouse event like they usually do in some capacity?
Yeah,
even though there's no E3.
There will be some sort of June Nintendo Direct, and it's obviously not going to have the E3 label this year, but there'll be something. They'll hold their normal thing with all their big announcements, I think.
And the Treehouse, because they usually do like several days of just like playing the games and stuff. Do you think they'll do it?
I don't know if they'll go that far with it. I think what we'll get is a big Nintendo Direct, and that will be kind of it.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So an hour-long Direct.
Yeah, something like that. If they have that much to show, I hope they do.
I'd love an hour-long Direct. Yeah. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, but you're going to make me watch it, Ben, for the show the week after.
I am going to do that. Yeah.
To be fair, the Nintendo Directs they're usually pretty snappy. They move very quick. There's no dead time. It's one to the next to the next to the next. So you don't need a lot of time to get a lot of stuff from Nintendo.
Isn't it amazing that Nintendo, the people who can't run online, they can't do party chats, they can't do anything right. Their online that you pay for is an absolute fucking clusterfuck. Took them years to do anything. They can't get eShop right. Like it's crap. Everything about Nintendo online presence is absolute fucking garbage. But they are the best at presenting digital events out of all of these companies. They were the pioneers, they really are. And they're the best. Yeah. Like, isn't it amazing that they're absolute? They're a clusterfuck online, except for this.
Yeah, it's just and I love Nintendo, but I'll call them out on their shit. But they just kind of have the reputation at this point where when they're fucking up all their online stuff, you just kind of go like, "Yep, that's Nintendo, though." It's Nintendo.
Yeah, I know. You just give them a pass.
Yep, they get that weird Nintendo pass.
Yeah. Oh, it's a load of shit and I pay for it. Yeah, it's fine, yeah.
Only paying for Switch Sports at this point.
Eddie, do you ever notice how when you listen to Nintendo fans talk, they say the same things we do, but without the disgust? All of the things we level at Nintendo, you guys are like, yeah, but it's Nintendo. So it's fine.
I won't disagree with any of it, but I just accept it because I don't know. Nintendo holds a place in my heart.
Oh, honestly, I think we had this discussion a few weeks ago where I feel like all Nintendo fanboys are like this. They let it get away with so much because it's just Nintendo.
Yeah.
This game's been out 7 years. Pay 50 quid for it still. I'm sorry, what?
Absolutely. Why not? It's a great game.
Take my money.
Oh, God.
Take my money.
I will agree with all the hate, and then I'll still just buy everything they put out.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's any PR advertising agency out there, just come to these two for your control group, and you'll be fine.
Put a little Nintendo logo in the corner, and just I'm in.
Yeah.
Maybe sponsored by Coke, so Ben can drink all the Coke in the world as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
Yes.
Yeah. Do we think what do we think Metroid Prime wise is going to be there? Because they surely got to show something. Prime 4, Prime Remake, what are you thinking?
I think it's way more likely for a Prime Remake. I think Prime 4, they should have never said they were doing it.
Yes.
Because it's just, I don't think we're seeing Prime 4 anytime soon.
I think that what they did with Prime 4 was, again, a masterclass in PR. Whereas you get people like the delay for Starfield, it's just like a little picture of a quote in a tweet saying, yeah, okay, we're moving this forward. Nintendo hold a 5-minute Nintendo Direct where they have somebody who bows and says, we are very sorry. We have disappointed all our fans. We're restarting the game. The game is crap. We're starting again. Like that, who can say? And everybody just went, fair enough.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Oh, it's shit, is it? All right, yeah, fine, okay. It was the greatest thing. The greatest PR. But yeah, I agree. I think I'd love a Metroid Prime remake to come out.
Yeah,
I'd be all in on that.
I haven't really touched those since the GameCube, like when I was a
no,
kid.
No, nor have I.
So I think that would be a lot of fun to play again.
Yeah, because I've wanted to, because I really wanted the trilogy to come out on the Switch because obviously it was on the Wii U and stuff, and because I just thought I want to play the Metroid Prime games again, and they just are refusing to bring out the trilogy. So maybe that's because they wanted to bring out the remake. And if they just said, "Oh, that's coming out in October," you'd be like, "Wow, that's amazing."
Yeah, that would be awesome, actually.
Yeah, it'd be insane. Yeah, and what about Zelda? Because obviously Breath of the Wild's been delayed, and there's now no scheduled Zelda game for 2022, which would be the first time that there hasn't been a Zelda game in like fucking forever in a year. So what do we think they're going to do about that?
I don't think we see one this year.
Whoa, so no Wind Waker, no Twilight Princess.
I think Wind Waker, it will be, if that happens, can I consider that like a big new release at that point? Because like they did Wind Waker HD.
They'll charge $60 or whatever.
Oh, no, they will. They will.
Oh, absolutely.
They will, and I'll probably get it just so I can play it on my Switch.
Same.
But like I don't know if I can count that unless they're like completely remaking it, but like you don't need to do that for Wind Waker.
No.
Maybe Twilight Princess if like make that look better, I guess.
But they've got HD remasters of both of those, haven't they? 'Cause the Wii U had Twilight Princess HD remaster and Wind Waker was on it. So they're just ports. They'll just be direct ports, surely.
Yes, I think that would be the most we see. And they will show at the Direct. I think we'll see more Breath of the Wild 2 gameplay. Hopefully more of like the new gadgets and abilities that you have and stuff.
Release date?
No.
That's what Ben's got down here is what he wants.
That's what I want.
I want it. I want it. But no, with their vague like holiday 2022, it's what we're aiming for, and now it's got delayed out of that window. I don't see them slapping a date onto it yet.
Okay. Splatoon 3, has that got a release date yet? Was that got a
I thought it did.
Yeah, I thought it might have as well. But we're going to see more of that, surely.
Yeah,
we only saw
September 9th for Splatoon 3.
Right, okay, yeah. I think that's coming up to it. They're going to have to push that a little bit because that's an excellent game. That's going to be an excellent game.
So, do you play online with Splatoon?
I did play Splatoon 2. I played 100 odd hours.
Oh, wow.
Online.
Okay. Because, I was going to say, like, I love the style of Splatoon. Like, I love the soundtrack. I was kind of only there. I waited on Splatoon 2 until it was on sale because I didn't see the need to spend $60 on like a 5-hour campaign that I want to play.
Yes.
And this is going to fall into the same boat for me. I don't really care about the online. I get why they're going to charge $60 because it's going to sell like crazy. But I'm going to wait until it's like $30 if that ever happens with Nintendo. And
waiting a long time.
Yeah,
we'll be talking to you in 50 years, and you'll finally be playing Splatoon 3.
That, or I'll ask someone to get it for me for Christmas or something.
Yeah, I with Splatoon, and like I would, if you're only interested in single player, like for me, Splatoon 2 is just not worth it at all. Like they're completely different games as single player and multiplayer, and I didn't really find the single player fun. I thought it was a bit rubbish. Even the DLC stuff and everything, I just thought it was a bit. I didn't really like it. Online, for me, is where it's at, and it's totally different. To me, Splatoon and Splatoon 3 will be... It's predominantly... That's what 90% of your gameplay will be through online. And they've got so many different modes and stuff like that. And, I think it's Nintendo's answer to your Call of Duty. And I know it's so... But that is what... their answer to it, and it's fucking brilliant.
It's huge in Asia as well, isn't it?
It is. It's massive. It's massive. In Japan, Splatoon is a huge franchise, absolutely massive. And I really hope for people like yourself, Dylan, that the single player campaign this time around is actually really substantial and good. Did you like the single player in Splatoon 2?
I liked it. Yeah, like I said, if I spent $60 on Splatoon 2 and played through that campaign, I would be like, well, that was kind of a waste of money.
Absolutely.
But like I was saying with Splatoon 3, I asked for Splatoon 2. It was either like for my birthday or something. I asked someone like, yeah, just get me this game. So I played it for free.
So somebody else wasted the money.
Exactly. and so I played it for free on my end, and I was like, yeah, I really like the gameplay and everything when it comes to the single player campaign was fine. I just love the style of Splatoon.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's so good. Yeah, so good. I love the online. It's it's really fun. But then beyond that, things that we're not aware of. What about Mario Odyssey 2?
I don't even get me started how badly I want Mario Odyssey 2. That was Mario Odyssey. After I completed that game, was like, I stepped away from it going, this is one of my favorite games ever.
Wow.
That's strong.
I fucking love Odyssey. And if they give, like, they don't usually do it, but we saw Galaxy get the sequel.
Yeah.
If they have the ideas for an Odyssey 2, like, I want it so bad.
I think they'll do it, I mean, I have said many times on this podcast that I've never really enjoyed any single player Mario game.
Yeah, you have.
And I beat Odyssey.
And you're the Nintendo guy?
I know, right?
I know. It's all counterintuitive. It doesn't work. it doesn't. But give me Luigi's Mansion. Fucking love it. But I can't do Mario. I just can't do it. I mean, I did Odyssey. I did the crappy ending. Not the full one. But
yeah, that whole Dark Side of the Moon shit.
I was like, yeah, okay. I don't. It's not. I think. Yeah. Doesn't. I don't get it.
I obsessed over Odyssey when that came out.
Yes, I'm the Nintendo guy. Maybe Dylan should be your Nintendo guy.
I am seeing something. I'm seeing a good opportunity there. Yeah.
Yeah. Anytime you need to talk Nintendo, wake me up at 8 a.m. and get me in my basement, and I'll talk about it.
But something that you do like is Switch Sports as well, and we need to know when the golf is coming, right?
Yeah, I want to know when golf is coming. I'm working my way through. I have the idea in my head that I want to get to A rank in everything in ranked.
Yeah. That's a lot of time commitment. That's a huge time commitment.
Soccer alone took me so many hours.
Sorry? Please don't do that.
Sorry.
Has he done that to wind us up? I think he's done that to wind us up, hasn't he?
He does know it's the last day of the Premier League today, right?
No, it's the Premier League, isn't it? Is that what they call it? Oh, dear. Yeah, but seriously,
don't need to alienate someone.
But in 45 minutes, the kickoff starts. So let's.
So the football.
Sorry,
but,
the soccer.
So actually, I have a question for you. So, do you have Switch Sports, Ben?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Is it called soccer for you?
Ooh.
I think it is called soccer.
Is it?
Interesting.
For fuck's sake.
I think it is called. I know I haven't made a mental note that it hasn't, but I'm pretty sure it's called soccer.
Scumbags.
That is awful. That is really a huge oversight, surely.
No, well, don't rag on them too much because I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure it's called soccer.
Well, you said it, Ben, so I'm going by that.
It's just like I haven't made the mental switch to go, oh, they've called that soccer, because you kind of accept it when they do that. So I think it is.
You kind of accept.
You don't accept that. Who accepts that?
Nintendo
Every
fans,
country in
clearly.
the world, apart from the US, will not accept that.
Sorry, it's Nintendo.
That's a lot of stuff over here. That's how a lot of it works.
Being the best example.
When I talked about Switch Sports, and I know what you're doing now is exactly what I wanted to do, just rank up in the sports. Like for me, it's like that was the aim of the game to me was to rank up those sports. Mm-hmm. But I just wish they really took this game seriously. And they announced, we're going to have updates, we're going to have new sports, we're going to have competitions, we're going to have online weekly competitions and all this kind of FIFA Ultimate Team stuff and like that. Like, I think they could just do so much more. There should be DLC that they're going to put out for this game, not just bring in golf.
No,
for golf, there should be multiple courses and competitions.
Yeah, completely agree.
Yeah. It's like they haven't taken. It's like they've made. Okay, we've made a good game. I ranted the other week on this, and they're going over old ground. But it's just that they've got good gameplay there. They've got quality gameplay, and it works. but everything else they've just gone like, yeah, that'll be enough.
Yeah, so right now enough. It's just the weekly cosmetics that they put up like a new batch every week.
Yeah, if Call of Duty did that, people would be up in fucking arms.
Yeah, but Nintendo.
But it's Nintendo.
I was about to say this for you. Yeah, Nintendo.
But it's not okay. It's not okay.
I had
like
something very strange happen in bowling the other day, where maybe I missed an update. I didn't see this happening. We fired up Switch Sports Bowling, and it was like, all right, you're in the intermediate lanes now. And there was suddenly, like, obstacles in the lane.
Oh, yeah,
They're, like, moving back and forth, and at one point, like, the lane in the middle was, like, a huge ditch that went down and then back up. It was...
Yeah.
I had no idea that was happening, so this was happening. I was like, what is happening? Why is...
So, when you play online on bowling... When you're in the like pro league or whatever, and you're in ranked mode, I think it randomly assigns whether it's normal bowling or it's the like obstacle bowling.
Okay.
I think you can't choose which one you want. I think it's just you get either.
So I've been playing.
It only happens in bowling.
Unfortunately, which I think this is an oversight. I play local co-op with my girlfriend a lot, and. You can't do ranked local co-op online like that.
No, you can't. Yeah, I
which
get it, yeah.
I think is an oversight because for something like soccer or volleyball or a lot of those, you do a lot better with the communication.
Yeah, volleyball would be amazing ranked online with co-op.
Yeah, it would be. Awesome. Because like being able to like pick which side you're covering and everything. I know we're kind of gotten really off track and we're just doing a Switch Sports conversation.
Massively so, yeah.
But, so I would love to see those types of updates, but I'm in love with this game.
Yeah, I good game needs updates. It's kind of like fucking Halo. It's kind of like Halo Infinite. And we'll get Mario Kart tracks announced, I'm sure.
Yep, probably.
And then the other games that I've got noted down, Mario Rabbids 2 will get a release date. Bayonetta 3 will get told it's 2023.
Okay.
And I'm sure they'll push out Advance Wars towards the end of this year.
You would think so.
Yeah.
I got a few more.
Yep.
So I'm sure they'll have some sort of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 trailer because that's coming out pretty soon.
Yes, yeah, got it.
I need to see more Pokemon Scarlet and Violet.
Yes. Now, do you think they'll hold... Do you think they'll show some of it and they'll hold most of it for a special Pokemon Presents?
Maybe, because I do know they love their special Pokemon events. But
yeah.
I need to know, after loving Arceus, like falling in love with it, and then this one, they have like little things on the website where it's like, we're returning to the traditional combat. And I'm just, no. Pokemon needs to be like Arceus from now on.
Yeah, I think it's going to be the good stuff from Arceus, surely.
I hope so.
It has to be. Because that was the best Pokemon game in years.
Yeah, it was.
I think they'll go back to the traditional formula, guys. I do.
No, they're not, Pete. That's nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about.
It would be such a disappointment, and I would spend $60 on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
I did exactly the same thing.
Yep.
I'd go, right, you're going back. Okay, I hate that decision. So disappointed. Massively disappointed. Pre-order.
Yep,
yeah, exactly.
Pretty much. And I say this for pretty much every big Nintendo thing, that what are they doing with Star Fox?
Oh, God. Like you guys haven't played Starlink, though, haven't you? That is Star Fox on the Switch.
So, yeah, I have not played Starlink.
Missing out. That is a game. That is a game. But yes, you're right. I would love to see a proper Star Fox game.
Yeah, like, I know really they put Star Fox in Starlink, so that kind of became that.
Yeah, for me it was a Star Fox game, but what I'd really like is for them to go to Ubisoft and say, yeah, Starlink, can you just make a Star Fox game?
Yeah, like even that.
Nintendo don't even have to do it. Nintendo don't even have to do it. Just say, Ubisoft, go make a Star Fox game.
Yeah, it just feels like, yeah, Star Fox was in Starlink, but other than that, there's been nothing since, the Wii U?
Yeah. But this isn't one of my crazy predictions, but I'd love an F-Zero game announced.
Yeah, that too. It's just they have a few IPs that are just sitting there.
Yeah,
and
that would do very well.
Nothing's really happening. So
yeah,
and Nintendo's not the company to not milk their IPs. So
no. But yeah, I hope for those two. That'd be amazing. F-Zero is one that I think would be fucking great for a great racer on the Switch. But, have you got any more?
No, that's pretty much what I have for Nintendo.
Okay.
There we go,
Fair
Pete.
enough.
We've wrapped up Nintendo.
Welcome back, guys.
I just
How was your meal?
As well. Yeah, it was nice. It was nice. No, so that's a good place to stop. And I think we are going to go on to our big predictions, or your big predictions, as I've already done mine. No, I will come back to it for a second. But before we do, I'd just like to pose the question of which of these three, not including Summer Games Fest itself, are you most looking forward to? Just a spur-of-the-moment answer, guys. So Ben first.
Xbox.
And Dylan?
Also, Xbox.
Ooh.
Yeah. Okay, that's a full house. We all are most looking forward to Xbox of these.
Oh, but I think the listeners are supposed to listen for variety. But you
it's
damn well
growing
know
Game
Kirk
Pass,
would have
baby.
been Xbox as well.
I grew up with Nintendo, and then I kind of became a PlayStation guy. But you can't deny right now Xbox with Game Pass
Yeah.
and now that they have Bethesda and everything, and
Bethesda is the killer for me. They're the RPGs I most look forward to. Pretty much all Bethesda.
Yep.
So, and that does bring us nicely onto the big predictions, because obviously mine were based around Bethesda RPGs. And I will reiterate, I do think we're going to get a title and a release year for ES6. And I kind of feel we might get a 30-second reveal for Fallout 5 or something similar. That's where I'm going.
I'll go next because mine was the old boring new Fallout game. But as you've got it, I'm going to go bigger, and I'm going to say Kojima Xbox partnership over an Xbox exclusive game with Mads Mikkelsen as the main character.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting specific.
We're
Love
getting
that.
big now.
Love that.
Have you looked this up, Eddie, or something?
No. It's just, like Mads ages ago. Do you remember like 3 months ago when I'd love to do a Kojima game, and then Kojima and Xbox, there's talks there. So I've just put them all in together, and I've gone big.
Love that.
You're welcome.
If that happened...
There were pictures of them together not that long ago as well, weren't there?
Yeah, it's because he's in Death Stranding. He's in
He's in Death Stranding. But I think he said in the tweet, was it like a couple of months back, like, I would love to do a game with Kojima again. Yeah, so, I've put it in your mind, and now you're all thinking about it. So
Fantastic, yeah. All up for that. Mine's a bit boring now. I think there'll be Elden Ring DLC announced, and I think it's going to come out for Christmas.
Okay, wow.
Some would say that's too soon, but I say it's not soon enough.
You are
still
expecting a lot for Christmas.
Yeah, I put so much time into Elden Ring. I'm not even close to finishing it. So I would love DLC, but I'm also like, let's maybe wait. Let's wait a little bit.
I need more. I've just done my second playthrough, so I just need to.
Oh my god.
And I've got a New Game Plus playthrough as well, so I've got 3 on the go. But...
There's so much in that game. How?
Ben's got a lot of free time.
Yeah, but the second playthrough, I tried to do everything. The first playthrough, I just did most of the things that I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm trying to do everything.
Yeah, I had a
Pete
very similar experience to you. I'd spent way too long exploring and then was over-leveled for a good first half of the game.
Yep.
That was fine by me. That worked. I think killing Godfrey before he even got to phase 2 was like, okay, I may need to push on with the storyline now. But yeah, okay. So Elden Ring DLC to be announced for holiday 2022 alongside Diablo 4. Fair enough.
Yep, absolutely.
High expectations. And go on, Dylan. What's yours?
I think with PlayStation Plus, well, all right, I don't necessarily think this is going to happen, but I want it to. They've said that they're not going to be putting first-party games day one on their service.
Yeah,
I want to see them take at least one of these bigger games, third-party wise, maybe a Final Fantasy or something along those lines, and say, this is the type of game we're going to go for. This is going to be day one on PlayStation Plus.
That would be very...
Because if you're not going to have your first-party games on there, that's the only way you're going to compete with Game Pass.
Absolutely. That is the game. That is the thing. And Kirk's prediction is actually similar in terms of a Game Pass day one. He said that he thinks Saints Row will be Game Pass day one.
Yeah.
Which I don't think it's been confirmed. So I think that's a prediction. So I'm down with Dylan's prediction. That'd be awesome if they did that.
Very much so, yeah. So I guess the key thing here is that people can check back in like 2 or 3 weeks' time to find out how much of this is pure bullshit. Which
probably 99%.
99 to 100% certain to be bullshit.
And our plans are to do a recap of this with Dave and Kirk, but we know our plans always come off, so
they do.
Yeah, we have plans, but we'll see what actually happens.
Exactly. Everyone was expecting this to be live, so I mean, when they hear it in a few days' time, I'm sure they won't be disappointed at all. But in the meantime, speaking of plans, Ben, what have we got planned next week?
What have we got planned next week?
You said about streaming on Thursday, didn't you?
I've heard of streaming on Thursday.
Yeah, but we haven't decided yet whether it's you guys doing Rocket League again or it's me doing one of my streams. So we will probably need to talk internally about that.
Definitely will, yeah. But seeing as Kirk seems to be dead, there may be a Rocket League problem there. So let's hope not. But we will be streaming something on Thursday.
Yes, something 7 p.m. Thursday. Look out for us, and we'll try to make that consistent every single week. So we'll do that. And anything in terms of predictions, if you want to make a big prediction, you can contact us on Twitter, Grumpy Gamers Pod. You can email us, podcast@grumpygamers.co.uk. You can check out our YouTube channel, Grumpy Gamers Podcast, or Grumpy Gamers Podcast on Twitch as well for that Thursday stream. But also, thank you to Dylan. And do your socials as well. Like, where can everybody catch you?
Head to, if you just go to offshoregamescast.com, we'll have everything there. Our socials are there, all of our podcast episodes. We got merch now.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Yeah, very simple. Either just our logo or some text, but we got, shirts, tank tops, hoodies. We have a skateboard, which is pretty cool.
Wow, fucking hell.
So yeah,
Ben, why did you
cool.
fucking do this?
No, I have. They've inspired me because we had a little group call the other last week or whatever, and I said I was looking into the merchandise stuff because you guys were doing it. So I thought, wow, this is a thing we could do. I know somebody who does it for their own sells their own stuff. So yeah, I've been looking into it, guys. Don't worry about it. I've been looking into it.
It was a project setting it up, but it was fun. So yeah, go to offshoregamescast.com. You can check out everything there, and every Thursday is when we upload our podcast. So
nice.
So you can listen to ours on the Wednesday, and theirs on the Thursday. See?
It's that classic 1-2 punch.
There we go.
Yes, indeed. Also, do you know how much cleaner the socials sound when it's just your name and the website? Like that's so much cleaner. Instead of hearing Ben, I mean, he doesn't stumble as much as he used to over which one's which. But
I haven't even got it on the doc here. I haven't even got it on the doc. I just had to remember that off the top of my head.
You were
that's
just
how.
That,
That's how ingrained it is now.
But if people want to hear that and all the other stuff every week, then they should check us out. But for now, it is GG.
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 Love it. Now off to watch the Premier League.